Hey, Ober, you ready for the podcast?
Yeah, man, I was thinking...
Huh?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Oh, Canada. It's the song that makes Shoresy weep, but it also might be the song that Pittsburgh never wants to hear again. Matt Canada got fired. Congratulations, guys. You did it. You did it. You got rid of that awful offensive coordinator, and I am proud of you. And I am now interested to see how the Steelers do, how Kenny Pickett does without him, how that offense looks, because they lost to the Browns, who are missing like their entire team. So, hey, happy days for Pittsburgh. Matt Canada is gone. He got fired a couple days ago. Today is Thanksgiving. Let's get this out of the way. Happy Thanksgiving. Lions are going to play today against the Packers. Obviously, have not seen that yet. Actually, secretly, I am recording on Wednesday. But I am also recording like late at night, but not as late as night as last time. So I don't sound dead. It's a miracle. I do want to discuss real quick. A lot of people have told me Jared Goff is ranked too high. He had a bad game. They looked at the stats. What have I been saying? Let's not look at the stats. The first interception was a pass interference not called on the Bears. Somebody just hit Sam Laporta before the ball got there. Second one on Goff. I'll give him that. Third one tipped. Two of those picks are not his fault. And let's talk about how he responded, because nobody wants to talk about how he responded. 3 minutes left in the game, down 2 scores. Tutty. And then let him down the field for Marty to get his revenge tutty. Jared Goff is top tier. I'm sorry, folks. I'm not lowering him. He's good. One more thing to address. I still have this terrible cough. It actually somehow got worse, so I sound terrible. I'm pretty sure I sound like Wheezy F Baby, the penguin from Toy Story, not the rapper. I came home. I had some chicken noodle soup. I drank some green tea. I'm drinking some green tea now with honey in it. Maybe I'll be alright. We aren't going to let that stop us, though. And I'm going to try to slow down a little on my talking because, I realize I'm doing the Pittsburgh thing where I talk fast and I say words funny. But it's probably fine. Everybody who's listening right now is from Pittsburgh. I realized that the numbers were down last week. Guys, I need you to pump them numbers up. I realized it was an hour-long, tired rambling of an old man who was talking about football QB rankings, and it was just very unplanned. This week we got some notes, but if you know how I take notes, these notes are very not organized. I write everywhere. I have things going up the side of the page, I have things in the middle of the page, I have things at the top of the page, I have to do at the bottom of the page. I sped up again. I apologize. I will get better. We are easing our way into this being a lone podcaster. Chris Ober at the beginning, Mr. Overrated. And let me tell you, if you want a professional sounding podcast about movies and TV shows, go listen to Overrated. This will not sound professional. I will not be telling you too many actors. Actually, I don't think I'm telling you any actors. Jared Queso, there's one. Knock it up. Professionalism out of the way. This week we are talking about Shoresy. Season 1, only Season 1, because I don't want to go an hour long again. I want this to be able to be digestible by you guys. I don't know if that's the proper way to explain it. This will be full spoiler. Full spoiler. Season 1 has been out for over a year now. That's on you if you have not watched it. Season 2 is next week. Full spoiler. So if you haven't watched Season 2 yet, get on it. I will be talking about it. Full spoilers ahead. Start talking about Shoresy, though. We need to start looking at Letterkenny. Shoresy was introduced in Letterkenny. He was a menace to Riley and Jonesy and the hockey team and pretty much everyone in Letterkenny by the end. My favorite season of Letterkenny was season 8, where they had the hockey tournament, and it was just where Shoresy really got to build a lot of character and had a lot of character growth. He showed how much he cares for the game, and that's because they were preparing for the spin-off I'm about to talk about, which is my favorite show now. Used to be Letterkenny, now it's Shoresy. Try to keep up. A lot of people say that I sound like I'm influenced by Letterkenny and Shoresy, and that would be correct, because these are my favorite shows. We're going to talk about Season 1 of Shoresy, which I think is the most perfect season of pretty much any TV show I've ever watched. I said it. First episode begins with a familiar face from Letterkenny, Anik Yu! And she has a panel of people talking about what's the dirtiest play in hockey. They each give their opinion. One says skew footing, one says knee to knee, one says submarining, one says sucker punching, just to get your curiosity out of the way. And then they talk about who is the dirtiest player in the game. And somebody says, hey, I have been watching the No Show. That's the Northern Ontario Senior Hockey League. No Show for short. Got it? Good. Have you guys ever heard of this guy called Shoresy? And they're all like, yeah, that motherfucker's a menace. And he does all the dirtiest plays, and he is the dirtiest player. He has a stick budget through the roof for his team because he just breaks sticks on everything and everyone. He hates losing. That's the reason we're jumping ahead a little with the hate losing thing. Fast forward, we go to Shoresy's game where they get pumped 5-0 for the 20th loss of the campaign, which is last place in the no-show, which consists of 4 teams. So, not great. They just aren't winning. I guess every team makes playoffs, though. We'll talk about that later. Spoilers. After the game, Mark Andrews, the coach, is talking about how it's a good team over there. They faced a good team. There's nothing to be ashamed about. Shoresy says there is so much to be ashamed about. They just got pumped 5-0 for the 20th loss of the campaign, and he is sick of losing. And he gets in an argument with his coach where he feels like his coach's sweetie is cheating on him with a lot of people. I believe her name's Britt. I'm not looking that up, though. His sweetie or ex-sweetie at this point has been cheating on him. Gave Sanguinet, the one player on the team, a squeezer at the side of a lake while he was taking an aqua dump, and he just raged and quit and said he's folding the team and went to the president, Natalie, who is a sniper. So she calls Sanguinet and Shoresy to her club to talk to them, where we get a sneak peek of the gyms if you pay attention. And they talk, and she says that she wants to fold. Michaels wants to fold. Shoresy says no. And, well, he was about to cry. But he says no. He says he's going to get 5 studs, put people around him, get some tough natives to put around him to clear the ice so him and the studs can score goals, run them up, fill them in, never lose again. This team will never lose again, says Shoresy. A lot. Natalie says, hey, if you're serious, go tell Laura Moore, that is the MILF reporter that Shoresy loves, that they will never lose again, and if they lose again, they will fold, and Natalie always does what she says. Natalie and her 2 goons, Sig and Mig, yeah. Shoresy goes and talks to her with the most smooth talking I've ever heard in my life. Nat gets ready to meet the people that Shoresy is going to bring on, and these are short episodes, so I'll probably be pretty brief with each of them. And we're going into episode 2, which is called Veteran Presence, where he brings in his new recruits to meet Nat and her 2 goons, whose name I will say occasionally, but I don't feel the need to say them too often. The 5 people he brings in, and I will go in the order of his presentation, are Brant Goodleaf, John Diabli, Ted Hitchcock. I'm only saying this once. Jean-Jacques Francis Jacques John. Ooh, that's a mouthful. And did I cover that all? Wow, that was fast. He's the 5th one. Alright, so he brings in 4 people. And I will be referring to Brant Goodleaf as Goody. And the one thing you need to know about Goody is he loves chicken. John Diabli is Dolo. He is a rapper who used to play in the show, got kicked out for fighting a fan because the fan used racial slur, and let me tell you, that fan deserved it. No racial slurs here. Ted Hitchcock, who we will refer to as Hitch, and his name is kind of funny because it's Ted Hitchcock, and if you say it real fast, it sounds like 10-inch cock. Also from like Newfoundland, I think they say, or they just kind of refer to him as a Newfie, so he also talks funny. He says a lot of things like, yeah, boss. One character, I can't understand him a lot because of how he speaks, but the Dolo and JJ Frankie JJ, who I'm not saying his name again, That's his name from now on. I'll just speak French the entire time. I don't understand French, but I at least get subtitles for them. I'm not turning on subtitles for my English-speaking people. I'm not a subtitle person. So JJ, Frankie JJ, and Shoresy have some history from Season 8 of Letterkenny, where Shoresy was losing to his team pretty bad, and he just slashed the fuck out of his leg and took him out of the game, and his team came back to win. And they're like, well, why does JJ, Frankie JJ want to play with you? And the answer is because Sudsbury, the team he plays for, Sudsbury Blueberry Bulldogs, have an impossible amount of good-looking girls there. JJ Frankie JJ is a legend in Quebec, and and he's dated pretty much every model there, every famous female there, and he wants to date the ones in Sudsbury now. The episode is pretty much dedicated to having you get used to the guys and like learn about them and a little bit about their history and a little bit of character building, and Natalie just saying like they better never lose again. Get their new sponsor, as I alluded to earlier. It's a blueberry company, and they're got these bright blue sweaters, and Shoresy wants to know where his C is, and she's like, it doesn't matter because we're going to fold. Which leads us into the next episode, where we get into our first game against the Timmins Timber Kings, and they're good. Later they will face the North Bay Norsemen, and they're real good. And then they have back-to-back against the Sioux Cyclones to finish the season, and they are real fucking good. So first game's against the Timmins Timber Kings, and they have the Appeldorns, who are a Dutch family. There's 8 of them, 8 brothers. They all have like hand-me-down skates and sticks, and you can tell who's the oldest and who's the youngest by their gear. And they're a bunch of big Dutchmen, as they say, and tough, very tough. But 3 people I forgot to mention in the last episode, how could I, are the gyms. That's right, gym number 1, gym number 2, and gym number 3. I have looked for last names on their cast page. They are listed as gym number 1, gym number 2, and gym number 3. And you know what? Whenever they are being introduced, they all say they want to be called Jim. All 3 of them just want to be called Jim. That's their name. I respect it. So every time they address them, they're like, how do you feel, Jim? Oh, good. Jim? Very well. Jim? I could be better, but you know. And it's always in that kind of like sequence too. It's pretty fun. The Jims are good. The Nolan brothers, Brandon and Jordy Nolan, both used to play in the NFL, NHL. Are 2 of the gyms. So that's pretty cool that they got actual like ex-hockey players to do this. The studs that were brought in, the 4 people plus Shoresy, their job is to run them up. That means score a lot of goals. And the gym's job is to fill them in, which means pretty much clear the ice and do the dirty work in the fighting. So in this first game, Dolo, who was the toughest son of a bitch ever, opens up with a fight to set the tone. And the tone is set. Now, that doesn't mean that the Bulldogs have an easy time. No. Tendy, their goaltender, whose name is just Tendy, gives up a lot of goals, and they are struggling to keep up. JJ Frankie JJ, their best goal scorer, is not shooting the puck because the model he is trying to talk to is not there yet, and he's a little sad. He's an emotional guy. Very large, likes to eat. They're struggling to like keep up in goals, but they kind of pull it together. Shoresy was helping Sanguinet, who is the new coach now, because he was a healthy scratch on a last place team. I'm going to be all over the place because I'm not used to doing this. Like I said, if you want a professional podcast to listen to about movies or TV series, go to Overrated. This is just me kind of spitballing, the ramblings of an old man. Sanguinet has Shoresy help him like break in as a coach, and Shoresy is just shit-talking everybody. He's chirping a lot. His own team, the other team, he doesn't know how to be nice or positive, really. But they pull it together. They get shit together, and in the third period, the model Lawrence LaBeouf shows up, and that's who JJ is talking to, so he starts picking it up. And they end up tying the game 5-5. And there's like, I don't know, 15 seconds left, if that, and they call timeout for like the final plan. And the final plan is beer league hockey. Shoresy wins the puck back to the defenseman Dolo. Dolo just flips it up. JJ goes skating down the rink, gets it, breakaway, and he scores the game-winning goal because his new model girlfriend is there and he wants to show off. After that, they go to some panini place that I can't think the name of. Pepper Panini, I believe. While that's happening, Tendy quits. Tendy cannot take the shit talking. And there's another player who almost quits. His name is Fish. And Fish is one of the guys that Shoresy has described as useless, and his job is to get in front of the puck and clear the way for the studs. Fish is not happy with Shoresy's leadership. Does not believe that Sanguinet is going to get hold of the team, and Shoresy is just going to become a madman who is going to drive everyone away. Sanguinet pulls him in, though, gets him to stay. They go to Pepper Panini. They celebrate. JJ brings his new girl, who is like, yeah, fuck you, Shoresy. We remember what you did in Quebec to JJ. And, I mean, I don't know why the storyline, this is like one minor fault. Lawrence LeBuff is from Quebec, apparently, but he came to Sudbury to meet Sudbury models. Maybe this is the girl he was dating and I just kind of didn't pick up on it. But she's not going to be happy in like an episode anyway. So, one thing I forgot to mention, whenever the hockey players, this is kind of important, whenever the hockey players came in, they went to the bar, they looked at the girl, some dude got very upset, and they beat the shit out of the dude and his goons. Well, I had to bring that in real quick. Tendy quit, and they needed a new goalie. Natalie went to Mark Michaels, the old coach for the team, because he used to be a goaltender in the show. Anytime I refer to the NHL, Major League Hockey, like the Pro League, I'm going to be calling it the show because that's what they call it in Shoresy. It's the show. That's the NHL. Alright, good. So Mark Andrews lost everything. He fell in love. Have you ever been in love, Nat? And he spent everything on the girl and she stole everything else. So he has nothing. And Natalie goes and finds him in his room in his underwear. And she's like, dude, the door's unlocked. And he's like, yeah, that's just in case anybody wants to hang out because I'm lonely because this girl left me and I have nothing. And she asked him to come back to the team. Well, while she was asking him, his dick was like hanging out of his underwear because that's a thing. And she's like, I can't look at you. I can't even why are goalies so fucking weird? So Mark Andrews, who has nothing, she points out, he has nothing to lose. He has to come back and he's going to get paid to play. And he's like, I won't do it unless I get an apology from Sanguinet and Shoresy. Oh boy. You know Shoresy does not want to apologize for taking an aqua dump, which is just taking a shit in a body of water. We have a new dilemma before the next game. But there's another dilemma, because before the next game, that dude who got beat up at the bar that I forgot to mention got his goons together and jumped Goody, Dolo, and Hitch. So they're late to the next game, which is, there's a lot of dramatic things happening between game 1 and game 2. And remember, if they lose, they fold. So if these people don't come, they probably don't have a good chance to win, and then they fold. Also, Mark Andrews, that's a football player. Mark Michaels calls himself Never Misses Lamarck Michaels. So that's just a great name for a goalie. I love it all the way. But how? How are Shoresy and the team going to avoid losing whenever these guys got held up in a fight? Well, we begin the next episode learning that Shoresy was adopted. He used to be fat, and he had a brother that always played sports with him, and he could never win. So Shoresy worked his ass off because he just couldn't stand losing anymore. And this is how he kept going and going. And finally he won. And then his brother, his adopted brother, quit playing and taught him, if you can't win, don't play. So Shoresy talks to Natalie before the game, and she's like, where's the sluts? Sluts is the term that they use for hockey players. And he doesn't know. He doesn't know that they're off fighting. Nobody's answering. And she's like, well, what are we going to do? And Shoresy goes, if you can't win, don't play. Yeah, my Shoresy voice is terrible. It doesn't help that I have the cough, and it's wrecking my throat. Yeah, so Shoresy does the pregame. He's chatting. He's doing the chirping to the North Bay Norsemen, and his big chirp with them is that they have the biggest C in the league. Like their captain C on their sweater is huge. So that's the thing he's going off about. Before the game, I guess there's like a belief that the last person off the ice, or like if you leave the ice before your opponent, it's considered bad luck. So Shoresy is refusing to leave the ice because this will trigger the North Bay Norsemen's captain. For whatever reason, I don't know, there were these announcers that I couldn't really understand well because they spoke half in a different language, French. Everything's French in this. You can't really see like what's happening. You just gotta kind of take what they're saying into account. And they do have subtitles, but they're saying a bunch of things about like superstition and whatnot. But the other guy gets kind of close and he starts like poking Shoresy with his stick. And eventually Shoresy retaliates and starts swinging back. And the rest of the North Bay Norsemen come onto the ice to fight. The Gems come out and fucking clear them out. Shoresy gets a low blow on the captain of the Norsemen. And then they drag him off the ice. They try to stop people, but there is a warm-up brawl. And there are brawls and there are warm-up brawls. And I think the difference should be important. Or distinct. Yeah, there's a saying that they say a lot. I have watched this fucking like so many times. I'm still butchering some of the stuff, but I'll watch it again. It doesn't matter. It's a great show. You should watch it too. So they have a warm-up brawl, and it happens in the Bulldogs tunnel where the Norsemen are in there fighting, where we kind of get to the next episode, and it just kind of comes in where the boys finished up with their scrap, and they get in there, and they're able to fight off the Norsemen, and they're in the locker room talking, and they eat these drumsticks, the ice cream drumsticks. It's like a cone, some vanilla ice cream with chocolate and nuts on top. Sticks are unbelievable, man. Nat, Sig, and Mig come in, and they're like, what the fuck is this? And they're like, I don't know if I'm more concerned about you guys bleeding, eating ice cream, or that you just fucking cost us the game. You lost, we're going to fold. Sanguinet has been getting a little savvy at this point as a coach, and he's like, yo, take some pictures to the league. Look at this. They were in our tunnel. They bloodied up our men. If anybody's going to get DQ'd, it should be them. This is also where Fish kind of earned the respect of Shoresy and his teammates, because he took quite the beating for the team, but he hung with them, and he showed that he does care about the team. So Nat and Mig and Sig go to the league, and the league kind of disses them a lot, and they're like, yo, if Shoresy was low on the ice, we know who started it. But Nat's mom was like real big in the league, and they're like, your mom would have loved this though. So we are going to DQ the Norsemen, and hence giving the Bulldogs the win. Hence they never lost, and 2 is technically a streak. Let's kind of fast forward here to the next game, because like a lot happens, and I'm not doing this justice. You just need to go watch it. But you just got to believe me when I tell you this is the most perfect fucking show. They're going to face the Sioux Cyclones, which they are so fucking good. Best team in the league, and they're like undefeated or some shit. And they normally win like by double digits, I guess. They have the Sioux Cyclones back to back, and the Sioux Cyclones are like, we're going to coast into playoffs, so they dress their backups. Shoresy and the boys are not taking this. They ran the Gems in first. The Gems fucked up their backups, and they ran up the score, and it was ugly. Bulldogs easily win. There's not a lot to talk about with this game, but a lot of things happen around this game, where Frankie JJ starts fucking a new model. Her name is Lysandra Nadion. I probably said that terribly. Every time her name is said, it's said in French. But I looked up the spelling, and that is what I got. So the Gems set the tone for the game against the backups. However, they do have like another issue of that gang that wants to keep fucking them up so they don't make it to the game. What do they do here? Well, Mark Michael's ex-sweetie has these brothers, and they're called the Police Chetty brothers, and they say it fast, but the point of it is police is in their name. Polichetti is how they say it in the show, but like the big thing is that police is in their name, and they're fucking weird and apparently really fucking tough. Yeah, so Michaels has this idea to go to his ex-sweetie to get her help with her brothers to keep those guys off their back, and there are two conditions. The brothers get season holding tickets because they want to feel a part of something. They want to be a part of something. They've never been a part of something because they're fucking weird. And then his ex-sweetie, Britt, wants to fuck Sanguinette. So Sanguinette and Michaels kind of squashed the beef during the last game where the Polichetti brothers escort the team. They get the bad guys to dress up as a turkey, a donkey, and a clock. And they're like, sorry for being such a turkey. Sorry for being such an ass. Sorry for wasting your time. It's a pretty good scene. It's pretty funny. And then they run them into the town for the final game against the Sioux Cyclones. But the big worry is, did they poke the bear? Who is the bear? Are the Bulldogs the bear at this point, or are the Sioux Cyclones still the bears? Yasso, and you guys are probably getting sick of hearing Yasso without any context. Yasso is how Shoresy brings up every other topic. I'm doing this on purpose, I promise. Yasso, wink. JJ Frankie JJ was caught fucking the new model by the old model, and the old model said that she was going to leave his Siamese cat outside of her house, that he needs to pick it up all the way back in Quebec. JJ Frankie JJ is not making this game. It's time to bring up Fish, because Fish showed that he proved himself. And whenever they approach him, it's like they say, it's like you almost enjoy winning. And he goes, no, I just hate losing. And then that's whenever they're like, oh! Another big point of this is they wanted to change their strategy. Since they had to beat them, they wanted to run them up and not fill them in as much. I don't know why they overthought this, because their strategy has been working for them ever since they changed it, but they overthought it, which I think you can see where this is going. But we've got one more thing to talk about before the game, which is Shoresy gets called to Natalie's office, and they got him a new sweater with the C. And I'm a little bitch, and about from this point until the end of the episode, I start just fucking turning into Waterworks. This is a comedy, but it's about sports, and I just feel I can, I'll talk about this after. But yeah, this is where I start getting emotional. And Shoresy gets emotional too. He starts crying whenever he sees it, and he's very excited. And whenever they announce who's going onto the ice, they're like, and your captain, Shoresy, yeah, ooh. And it's a huge hype moment, and you think, yeah, this is it. They're going to fucking do it. They're going to fucking do it even without JJ. They've been chasing it. They can't lose. If they lose, they fold. Well, they get fucked. They get fucked hard in the first period. And Mark Michaels is taking it tough. But they're even Shoresy. Shoresy's like, nah, man, you're doing a great job. You're just getting peppered out there. We're letting them pepper you, and it's not your fault. Period 2 comes and goes, and they get fucking wrecked even more. It's 5-0. 5-0 is just a typical score in this league, apparently. And they're like, fuck. Well, they go back to the locker room, and Shoresy is just puking. He's disgusted. He can't believe they're going to have to fold. And they have a team meeting. This team meeting is kind of muffled, though. You can't hear anything going on. Whenever they come back, they say, this is our last game in the barn. We aren't going to beat the Sioux today. We're going to fold. But we want the Gems to get the final goal of the season. And they go out there, and True Love starts playing, and it's emotional from that point on. The Gems get the final 2 goals with Shoresy and the rest of the crew fighting and just clearing the way for them. But they lose 5-2, which sucks, because I thought this was going to be the end. I thought it was just a 1-season spinoff. Then they have a crowd there at the beginning. Whenever they lose, they don't have a crowd, but they worked up a crowd, and people start to really like them. I hope you can't hear my heater kicking on. It's a little chilly. So Natalie, Mig, and Zig come out onto the ice, and the boys are there, and they're all saying goodbye to the fans, because everybody knows this is it. They're folding. It's the last game at the barn. Cut to the locker room. The boys are all eating their drumsticks. They're on the phones. Cuts to Shoresy's locker. Shoresy is not there. Then it cuts to the equipment room, and Shoresy is there with just Natalie. And then they fuck. No, just kidding. But they're having a talk. Well, not really. Shoresy's just sitting there staring at her. And she's like, what? We're folding. I told you, we're folding. I said if we lose, we fold. I always do what I say. And she's like, you really think we can beat them? You really think we can beat them? Because they're going to the playoffs. And it's at this point what is revealed, what was said in that little stall, the bathroom stall. And it was, hey, they have a hot tender. Bounces aren't going our way. And we need to play like a team of Shoreseys. 16 Shoreseys on the ice. And he's like, no, we need goals. It's too late to come back. It doesn't matter. And they're like, the one thing they mentioned was that they don't like the lumber. And they're winning the physical game even though they aren't playing the physical game this time. Hitch brings up a good point. You know, you hit them, they're not going to go where you're hitting them. So for the final period, let's put this to the test. Let's play it fucking tough. And if we win the period, let's talk our way into this. We're all going to play like Shoresy. We're all going to come back and win. It was all revealed, and I assume that's what he was telling her as it flashed back. And she's like, you really think we can beat them? And he goes, yeah, they're a good team, but they do not like the lumber. And you know what you get in the playoffs? Natalie's like, the lumber. That's right. And she goes, okay, so if the entire team's going to play like you, what are you going to do to change your game? Well, Shoresy says that he's going to start working out and taking it serious because he's just kind of been coasting along so far, and he's going to bring his A game. He didn't say that per se, but he stared at the weight bench, insinuating it, and then it cuts to the entire team running around the city with just normal people following them, running as well, bringing the city together, because hockey brings everyone together. There we go. We did it. We made it through. I have talked about an entire season of a show. Once again, if you want something professional about movies or a TV show, go check out Overrated. I didn't mention too many actors or anything. Sorry. But I will say, I have watched this a million times, and I watched it one more time just for this podcast. And you know what? I fucking cried again. Every time episode 6 comes on, he gets that Captain C, I start crying. They lose, I start crying because oh, it's over. And you know what? I just kind of want to take a moment here to describe how I feel about this. If this was a one-off, one-season thing and that's how it ended, I would have been okay with it. Because it was beautiful. It was so fucking beautifully done. But they decided to carry on. There's obviously a season 2 that I'm going to talk about next week. This season will never be topped. Just like they said, they will never lose again. I do not believe that this season will ever be topped. I believe it's perfect. It starts off with them getting fucked. And then they want to never lose again. And they find a way to just keep on winning. I mean, 3 whole games. It's a short season. You can watch this in 2 hours. But it has the chase. It has the consequences. If you lose, the team folds. You can't lose. They are all working towards something. It has drama that I kind of didn't dive into because I would be here for fucking ever if I dove into all the drama in between. There is a bird named Big Sexy that says tit fucker. That's one major thing that you probably should know at this point that I just didn't bring up because it's little stuff in the lore. You should really start this out. If you want to do this the right way, you should just go watch Letterkenny first. Get your introduction to Shoresy. At the very least, go to YouTube and watch the best of Shoresy because it covers a good bit to give you an idea of what kind of person he is. But then go and just watch this season. Just go watch it. No distractions. It only takes 2 hours. Put your fucking phone down. Put everything aside and just don't worry about anything. Just enjoy this for 2 hours. That's all it takes. Because it's honestly, especially if you played sports back in the day, I think the reason I relate to this so much, why I feel this so much, is because I was on a losing team. I'd play a lot of video games and I enjoy winning. Yes, winning is probably the best feeling in the world. But the worst feeling in the world is probably losing. I fucking hate losing. And I relate to everything they say in here when it comes to the sports. So much. So much. I gotta wrap this up though. This is about the length I want my podcast to be, in that 30 to 40 minute area, not like the hour long one I did last time. So we're going to wrap it up. Next week we are going to do season 2 of Shoresy. I'm going to go start watching it now, start some new notes. Maybe I'll make them cleaner. I doubt it though. Also, I want to thank Erica for suggesting this because it made me watch my favorite show again. And this was her request. Once again, you can request a topic if you want me to talk about it. Thank you, Erica, for your suggestion here. If you've made it this far, make sure you like, comment, whatever the fuck you do with podcast. I think you just follow me and leave a good review or at least interact with it in some way. Share it with a friend. I would appreciate it because I'm enjoying the fuck out of doing this. I got one post-editing note here, and I'm just going to place it right here so it doesn't even sound like it's a post-editing note. I don't know why I'm telling you this. But, I had a pretty major computer update, and I realized it made a lot of things on Audacity cut weird. I'll figure that out for the next episode, hopefully. I have a lot of things I'm trying to figure out with Audacity, and I'm probably going to look into other, recording options, because Audacity is not, the cleanest recording thing, and there's my heat again, I realize you can hear it, sorry. Audacity's not the cleanest recording editing software, and I realized also whenever Chris and I were trying to do the intro, it doesn't like to record off Discord or anything, so I just, it's a work in progress. Thank you for sticking with me. Normally I would end here with a hit my fucking music, but for the next 2 weeks we are going to get a special outro. Give your balls a tug, you tit fucker.
Yeah,